Hello and welcome to episode 23 of the Golden Boots podcast. This is your host, Jorge Gonzalez. Our podcast is all about soccer, all things soccer. We love soccer. Our podcast is brought to you by Top Bin 90, which is our channel. Today we have Luiz Mota, also known as Naka. He is originally from Sao Paulo, Brazil. He's played college here and he's also played arena. My man, how are you?
Doing great. What about you?
I'm good, man.
Thanks for having me in the show.
Yeah, man, for sure. You're a little mini celebrity now, so.
Hopefully. That's one of the goals. First one is to be rich. Second one is to become a celebrity.
I like that. I like that, man. I like that. Nice. Tell me what's been the best part of your year so far? We're almost a month in now.
Yeah. The way I grew my academy, I would say that it's been a good past 5 months. In 6 months, I grew from having one student to having about 40 right now.
Nice, okay.
So it's been growing pretty nicely, and the boys that I coach finally had the opportunity to play the regional tournament. So they had a great experience. That was all about it. I believe in creating the experience and creating love out of that experience. That's the motto that I use in my academy. And just by seeing how they left that place excited to come back, made my day. So I believe that doing this year has been the best thing so far, how I was able to make the kids love at least a little more about soccer.
I love that, yeah. That's one thing I didn't mention. You also run a futsal academy, correct?
Yes, I do. I started with skills, and now the boys started getting so intense about it. And I said, Coach, can you sign us up for a tournament? So I started looking into outdoor tournaments, but there's so much paperwork that you have to go through that I was like, let me see futsal because I have experience in the futsal world. Start coaching them, sign them for the regionals. Great experience. Now it's just growing from now.
I love it, man. Nice. So like our podcast, we like to bring in different people from the area and kind of have them share their story of soccer, kind of like you, but in a different perspective. I like highlighting that because I think soccer doesn't just teach you like a game. It teaches you mindset. It teaches you skills. It teaches you how to like deal with other people, how to be within other religions, and because you kind of, everybody has kind of that same goal, which I love, right? So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Just as you mentioned, the religion here, if you guys don't know at home or if you don't know, Argentina actually has a Maradonian religion where they praise Maradona as their main god.
I did not know that.
It's an actual religion, so look it up if you have the opportunity. Maradonian church in Argentina. Maradona's the main god, and they have the Maradona Bible. They follow all the steps, and they chant like "Dale, dale" inside of the church. Look it up on YouTube.
That is wild, man. I'm definitely gonna look that up now.
And that's one dream that I have as well, is to show people. Now in Charlotte, I see a great opportunity. That's why I think you're doing a great job here. Again, thanks for having me in the show, and I think we could show people how soccer is around the world.
Yeah.
You know, here Charlotte FC is starting great. But they have one way of seeing soccer, but there is way more than that.
100%.
And that's why I feel that the U.S. is still a little behind soccer-wise, and that's why they didn't qualify for the last World Cup. Hopefully they will qualify to the next one, but there's a lot that they can see. And, man, I tell you, some people go crazy for the game.
Yeah.
You know, I go crazy myself.
Yeah. I think, like us, like, because we have kind of that foreigner perspective, like, we understand the passion, even, like, the intensity. Like, I think, like, with other countries, it's not as much with the U.S. because it's not the main sport. Right. But, like, even through World Cup qualification, like, the media, there's so much pressure these players receive. And it's not the same for U.S. players.
No. So, I mean, again, it's growing, and I hope we'll get there. But, unfortunately, right now, the soccer is still not the main sport. But, again, there's a lot of opportunities for guys like us that love the game, that have the knowledge. It's a blue ocean. We just have to explore where to go. So, I mean, like, again, congratulations on having this. I think it's a great way of bringing information to people that still don't follow the passion for the game.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that, man.
No problem.
Nice. So tell us about yourself.
Well, so, again, from Brazil, obviously, was born in Sao Paulo, grew up playing soccer since I was a little kid. Unfortunately, my parents they're not soccer fans, so they never actually supported me playing soccer. They wanted me always to follow the study route, which I respect, because Brazil, it's a little different than the U.S. Here you have the opportunity to go to college, get a degree, and still play professionally. In Brazil, we have the academies, which are also different than the U.S. Over there, the kids get paid to play. So sometimes you have, for example, Neymar. At 12 years old, that kid was probably making 70,000 reais a month supporting his family. While here, the best academies are the ones that charge more. So I obviously grew up playing soccer, played for Sao Paulo, grew up playing futsal as well. And I always wanted an opportunity to try to be professional. But every time something showed up and I got invited to maybe go for a month training session with a club, my mom would say, I don't think this is the best route for you. What if they don't put you to become a professional? Now you gave up your studies, and what you're going to do with your life. So they always stayed with me. And when I was 17, I got seen by somebody in Brazil who mentioned the fact that I could come to the United States to get a scholarship for college.
Okay.
So I started searching for it more and more, and then I started watching movies. Got to watch the American Pie, High School Musical. So
American Pie convinced you to come to you.
Can I have that life? Can I actually party like that? So I was like, I want to go. But then I become insane. Everything I was looking on the internet was parties in the United States, life in the United States, college structure. The structure of some colleges here are much better than professional in Brazil. So I got to try out. I got in a bus and we went to the countryside of Sao Paulo. And I tried out for the whole weekend in a hotel, and they recorded the video of us playing. I was very fit. So I did very well. And then I got a few offers, but unfortunately my English back in the day wasn't the best. So I took the TOEFL, I took the SAT, didn't get the grades that were needed for some colleges. So I lost the offer and ended up with two options. So it was Tennessee or Iowa. So some of my friends from Sao Paulo were in Iowa. And they were telling me, come here, man, and we got to build a great team next season. And just that fear of being lonely made me want to go to Iowa because I had some Brazilian friends in case if nothing worked out.
And I mean, it's tough too. Like, you're going to a whole nother country, you know, where like even culturally, like Iowa culturally is different than Charlotte culturally. You know what I'm saying?
Different.
And I can imagine country-wise.
Exactly. And then 18 years old, deciding to move countries, it was just like, I remember myself getting to the airplane and I was excited because I wanted to come. I sat in the airplane. I'm like, what am I doing? I literally remember I didn't sleep the whole way to Miami. I watched probably 4 movies. When I got to Miami,
American Pie.
Oh, they didn't have American Pie. I think that's PG something. They don't allow it on the airplanes. But anyway, I got to Miami and I was exhausted from staying, and my anxiety was so. I was like, I'm gonna faint here. So I was just so like nervous about what's gonna happen. But honestly, the choice I made, having the Brazilians, the first 2 roommates I had were Brazilians. They helped me a lot. I'm going to tell you a funny story before I continue the soccer career. First essay in college. My English was so poor. I sit there, I start typing in Portuguese. Everything, because I used to write very well in Portuguese. So I typed it all in Portuguese and I was going to throw it on Google Translate. My roommate, which was a senior already, he came. When I think I went to the bathroom or something like this, he highlighted all my essay and put backspace. And I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Like, I just took so long to make this work. And he was like, rule number 1, you're never going to learn English if you keep just speaking Portuguese. He's like, write whatever. If you get an F on this, get an F. But you tried. So I sat and I restarted in English. I don't remember the grade I got, but that's how he started forcing me. And then I got a Canadian girlfriend back in the day, went to play in Canada for summer, one of the PDLs. And then my English just improved so much. And then I just kept going. And then it just improved like that.
Well, it's really good, man. I mean, like, I know I would be pissed off if somebody did that to me, but I mean, like, it actually taught you, so like, it worked out.
Right. It was more like an act of respect.
Yeah.
As a senior, so I was like, he's probably trying to help me.
Yeah.
You know, I don't mind if somebody's actually trying to help me, even if it seems harsh.
Yeah.
I see as an act of, okay, he wants me to improve. And I took it, and it just kept moving. But then played 4 years of college. We had few years that were absolutely unbelievable, great teams. At some point that we had 10 Brazilians on the team. It was just a dream team, made to the semifinal of nationals. We should have won that year. In the final, we would have played a team that we beat 5-1 during regular season. Unfortunately, with 3 minutes to go, we got scored in the semifinal, and then we went to PKs, lost on PKs. That was heartbreaking. One of the only games that I cannot rewatch on YouTube because like heartbreaking that sits inside of me.
But wow. What do you think is the differences between like that college soccer and Brazilian soccer?
First of all, physicality and the emphasis on fitness.
Okay.
So my first week here, I remember the coach clearly looking at me and saying, "Welcome to America, Naka," because I was about to throw up about like after the suicides he made us do, and I was like, "Coach, I'm gonna throw up," and he's like, "Welcome to America." So then I realized that I need to get much better fitness-wise and physicality. I'm still not a big guy, but trust me, when I was 18, I was like a stick. Right now, I feel like I'm in a decent shape.
Yeah.
Not right now because COVID kind of put me out of shape, but prior to that, when I was in season, I was in a good shape. When I first came to America, I was too skinny. So I needed to get that going before I actually started picking up. So the first year in college was a little harsh on me as well, but it taught me a lot. So that's one of the biggest lessons I can take from college. Everything that I went through taught me a lifetime thing that I don't think any other school would be able to teach me. Then after I graduated in school, then it's when it started getting a little funky. Graduated from school when I was dating a Brazilian at that point. And she moved to upstate New York, and I was just like in love. Decided to follow her. Terrible idea.
Love makes you do some crazy things.
If you're
right?
watching this and you're from upstate New York, please don't take this on me. But it's my least favorite place in the United States right now. Right now. And funny fact, the contract that I have right now for the next indoor season is in upstate New York. So maybe it's a love and a hate situation.
It is.
You know? It's a little difficult, but
some kid's gonna watch this and like see you in New York and be like, "Yo, you're the guy that disrespected my state, man."
Exactly. Cut it. Don't put it there. But anyway, I moved there, and obviously super cold, and I stopped playing. At that time in my life, I graduated college, and if you know visas, so the student visas and F1, when you graduate, you get an OPT that gives you 1 year to work in whatever degree you got. So I graduated with a marketing degree and moved upstate New York and got a marketing job at a soccer academy.
Okay.
So I was doing stuff related. I was not playing anymore. And I met this guy. His name is Marcelo Moreira. Probably going to watch this when I repost it. So Marcelo, yes, I'm talking about you. I consider him my best friend here in the United States. Fun fact, he's 40. But he was a legend in Brazil. He played for Palmeiras.
Okay.
He has been part of the best group of players in Palmeiras. He wasn't the starter goalkeeper, but he was part of the group. And then he moved to the United States. He started playing indoor. He got married. And I met him at the soccer academy because he was a coach there. And I was just a marketing guy. I was 23 at the time. And then he looked at me and he said, "Man, you're a great player," because whenever the boss left, we used to get a soccer ball and go play foot volley. Or he had a contract signed with St. Louis Ambush, so he was moving to Missouri in about 2 months. And he would get me extra hours over time and be like, "Shoot some balls, train me, 1v1. And I would do it. And he's like, "Man, you're a great player. You should be still playing." I'm like, "No, Marcelo, it's done for me. I just want to have a life, go work." So you're familiar with USL, obviously.
Yeah.
So here we have the
Charlotte Independence.
Charlotte Independence, exactly. And Rochester had the Rochester Rhinos. And they were about to play the final of USL. Marcelo, his wife, is a marketing girl for the professional indoor team.
Okay.
So she knows everybody in that city, soccer related. And she got us a VIP booth to watch the final. The booth near us is the president of the Syracuse Silver Knights, which was a team from a city 2 hours or 1 hour down the road. I used to take a non-toll road, so I used to take the 2 hour. But if you took a toll, you'd be about an hour. He looked at him and said, "Hey, would you mind giving this kid an opportunity? I think he's a good player." And he's like, "We have a tryout next week. Don't worry, I'll waive the fee. Just make him drive." So I drove the whole weekend, played well. He offered me a contract, offered me a visa.
Nice.
And I was like, now I was in that point of, do I want to go this route or do I want to focus in working and developing resume and everything?
Yeah.
So that comes the weird part of the story. The money that I was making wasn't good enough for me to prove to an apartment complex that I could make the monthly payments. Usually, I don't know if here they do it, but upstate New York, they require pay stub to make sure that you have to rent.
Yeah.
My pay stub wasn't enough. My girlfriend at the time was a student, couldn't provide any money. So the only place that accepted us leaving was a Craigslist house. Exactly. So if you're seeing right now that I'm having a good life, there is a lot behind of it, a lot of effort. And that's why I believe that effort and consistency is everything to get you going. If you have a goal in your life, you put that and follow it. Doesn't matter how hard it gets.
I love that. Effort and consistency. But
100%.
the most important thing is a rental at Craigslist.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Don't do that. Don't follow that idea. But anyway, we got a deal with the guy. And then it was this guy, an old lady, rented another room. Myself and my girlfriend at the time rented the attic.
Okay.
Okay, no problem. things start getting a little weird with the owner of the house. Hopefully he doesn't watch this because he might try to chase me. You guys are going to understand in a second. Start getting weird. Like he starts making real weird comments for me and my girlfriend. Then I start doing a research on him. I find he has served some time in prison for rape.
Oh God.
That brought me a little bit of discomfort because obviously I have a girl in the house. What is this guy gonna do if I'm not home? But okay, I believe also that people can pay for their mistakes and actually become good people. So I wasn't gonna judge him by like he made a mistake at some point. He got out, so he paid whatever he had to pay. Now he's not bothering me so much. I respect it. The lady at the house, she used to be a bartender. Even though she was old, she was a bartender. She used to drink a little bit too much during the night. She liked to smoke. And then one day I'm just in the shower after a day of work, and my girlfriend comes running. Naka, Naka, Naka. I said, what's going on? She's like, the lady fell outside, and she broke her leg. But I cannot pick her up to bring her inside. So I go outside. She's freezing outside. She's probably been there for like 30 minutes because she went to smoke, slipped in the ice, and she's old, broke her leg. So I carry her inside, put her inside of the couch, and then the firefighters come, the ambulance comes, and they pick her and take her in the ambulance. So I'm like, wow, this is insane. What's going to happen? So that room has been vacant for a while. The owner of the house then, after 2 weeks, comes to us and says, like, she broke her leg. She cannot go up the stairs anymore, so she's going to move out. I cannot afford to just have you guys here. I need somebody else paying rent. So I said, okay, no problem. So he brings this guy, don't know from where. The guy had nothing. He had no suitcase, no clothes, absolutely nothing. He had a garbage bag that he carried like this inside of the house. So I told her, like, this is weird. This is really weird. First day in the house, I was there because I decided to quit my job to go play in Syracuse. I finally made the decision. I'm like, okay, I'm going to pursue my dream of playing soccer.
Yeah.
So I was going to Syracuse, driving, training in the morning at 7 a.m., coming back, would arrive around 12, because drove at 7, practice from 9 to 11, then drive back 1 p.m. I would be home. And this guy was home. He used to look at me a way that I'm like, something's not right here. Okay. 10 p.m. at night, me and my ex-girlfriend are in the room watching Netflix. Start hearing a bang in the door. Boom, boom, boom. And I'm like, what's going on right now? This is weird. I open the door. This guy's completely out of control. And he's like, you stole my phone. I'm like, dude, what do you mean I stole your phone? You stole my phone. Where's my phone? You're the only one in the house. You are the only one who could have stolen it. I'm like, dude, are you serious? Look at us. Like, we have phones. We have computers. Yeah, I don't need to steal your phone. So he started threatening me and saying, you're going to see what I'm going to do to you. And then he looked at her and said, like, I'm going to show you how we do here in New York. I'm like, okay. That's starting to be dangerous right now. Like, he's literally making real threats. But at the beginning, I was like, this guy is not for real. So I kind of like stood up for myself and started like speaking, like, serious. And he's like, you see what I'm going to do. So he went downstairs and he said, I'm going to be back. And then she started freaking out like, oh my God, he's going to get a gun. He's going to shoot you. I said, I cannot do anything. There's no way we can get out of this right now. I waited for him. So I don't know what he did, but he put like some boots on. And then I assumed that he was going to try to beat me up with the boots to kick me. I don't know. As things went by, his phone starts ringing in the kitchen. So I was like, dude, your phone is in the kitchen. And he was like, I know what you were doing. You didn't steal my phone. You were pranking me. I became a pranker later on my YouTube channel, but back in the day, I wasn't a prankster at all. So he's like, you're pranking me. I'm like, dude, I'm not pranking you. You misplaced your phone. And he's like, he looked at me, and he was like, call my phone right now. And when I find it, I'm going to come here and I'm going to stab you.
What?
I'm like, exactly. He looked at me and said that. I'm like, okay, now things got for real. I need to get out of here. So we were in the stairs. I was in the bottom of the stairs. He was in the middle because he tried to throw a punch at some point, and then we kind of got turned. It was my ex, me, and him. When he tried to do something, we kind of spin. So now I'm in the bottom. He's in the middle. She's at the top. So he's closer to her. And I'm like, this cannot happen here. So at that point, I had an idea. I said, here it is, dude. Take my phone. Call your phone. You can find it. When he did that, he kind of leaned against the front of the stairs, and he opened a gap behind him. So obviously she spoke Portuguese. I speak Portuguese. I said to her in Portuguese, walk behind him. Don't let him grab you. Go downstairs like nothing's happened. Open the door, sprint, and I'm going to sprint behind you. So when I heard her opening the door and sprinting outside, so cold, she was in shorts. I was like shirtless. We both sprint outside. We ran 2 blocks down the road, knocked in somebody's house. Said, please, do you have a blanket? This is happening. We called the cops. She recorded everything he said. My ex-girlfriend, they record everything. So the cops came. What's going on? Showed them the recording. Got into the house. She was crying so much. I was also like, what's going on? I was more like in a numb position. I was like, what's going on? They put him against the wall, lift his, he had not a jacket, he had a sweater, just like what you're wearing right now, but black.
It wasn't me, guys.
They lifted, and he had kind of like a Velcro
thing.
It wasn't exactly knives, but it was like sharp things that he had like about 4 here under him. I'm like, dude, this guy was actually gonna do something. So at that point, I was just like, that's it. Life here is too hard for an immigrant. It's just like, I cannot even prove that I have enough money to live in an apartment. You know, I had an okay money in my account. I could pay for it, but because they required the pay stub as proof, they didn't allow me to have an apartment. So I said, this is too much. So I called my dad and I said, this happened. And he was like, this is an absurd. Come back to Brazil. Let's start life again here. So Marcelo, which is going to come into play right now, had moved to St. Louis to start his season. And I gave him a call to thank him for everything he has done and explain the situation. At the same time, he told me, you drive to St. Louis tomorrow. You're going to stay at my house, which was a safe place, and you're going to try out for the team. So I drove down to St. Louis 15 hours and arrived there around like 10 p.m. and I had to be ready for practice the day after at 6 a.m. It was like I was a 4th grader playing against college players. People running me up and down. I was just lost, tired. So unfortunately, I gave a bad first impression to the coach. So I kept going with the team. They didn't sign me right away. I took that as an opportunity. I said, I'm going to practice and I'm going to get better. And then at some point, they're going to give me an opportunity. But the team wasn't doing so well. They ended up firing the coach. The new coach that they brought in, I had played for him.
Okay.
And against him during college days when I was playing PDL.
Okay.
So he walks into the locker room. He's like, I know you. And I'm like, yeah, how are you? Like, I played against you. He's like, good. So he gave me some hope that they could sign me. Meanwhile, there was an offer from Australia for me to go play. I don't remember which division it was, but one of my English friends that I also played PDL with was in Australia. He spoke with the coach. The coach invited me. So I talked to him and I said, I'm going to go to Australia. And then he told me something that I will never forget, and that can be a lesson for your listeners. He looked at me and said, quitters are not going to be winners. So he was basically like, if you quit right now, that's it. You're going to have to restart there, and then what? Are you going to succeed there? You have to have consistency in your goal. You want something? Keep going. Doesn't matter how hard it is. So I said, okay, I'm going to refuse the Australian offer, and I'm going to continue here.
I love that, man. Like, just I don't want to cut you off, but that is so good because, I mean, like, sometimes we get hit with so much adversity that, like, yeah, like, it's okay for you to have those thoughts. You know what I'm saying? People always say, like, oh, block it out. Yeah. I personally believe, okay, like, even if you have those thoughts, think about it. What could happen? Exactly. What's the worst that can happen? Yeah. Okay, like, I mean, like, it's like when people say, like, talking to strangers is weird. Okay, sometimes it is, but, like, what's the worst that's going to happen? Like, the building is going to fall apart because you had a conversation with somebody? No.
Exactly. I'm a true believer that you have 2 paths. You always have 2 decisions in your life. If something gets hard, you can quit, give up, or you can actually try. I prefer to try the route of trying, you know?
Love that.
So I kept playing, and that's the funny story of how I actually had my first indoor game. I was playing, they were not signing me. One day I was home eating some nachos with cheese, watching the movie of Cristiano Ronaldo. I don't know if you had the opportunity to watch that. It's a very nice movie to watch.
Yeah.
One of the team players calls me and he says, just so you know, it's not confirmed yet, you might go to this game in Seattle. And I said, why do you say that? They haven't mentioned that during the week. So they're like, the other player that was in the roster, his wife is about to give birth tomorrow. So the guy might not be able to go. but the president might call you later. So I said, okay, I got some hope, but I was still like, might not happen. 3 hours later, the president calls me and said, like, pack your bags. You have to be at the airport at this time. The other player is going to have to miss the game because his wife is giving birth. So I was like, wow, like, what a crazy opportunity.
Yeah.
So I went to the airport. We traveled, about to enter the arena in Tacoma. I looked at that arena, was packed. And I'm like, wow. Like my first opportunity, but I was so nervous. My first shift, so usually an indoor shift lasts from 1 minute and 30 seconds to 2 minutes. You got to attack, defend properly. And then
explain that. Explain arena soccer a little bit.
Well, so it's a little different, a bit tougher. So it has the idea of futsal, the same idea of movement, but the legs get so heavy. People that say, I can play arena soccer. Don't you worry, I can last 30 minutes if I have to. They have not played arena soccer. They might have played pickup game in an indoor facility, but that's not arena soccer. It's the one that you pass and you stand still. If you stand still, you're done. It's pa, 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 and the ball never goes out. It hits the board. You can take a shot and hope that you're going to score. As you see, the ball hits the board and you're getting a counter and you're getting scored.
Yeah.
So it's like this. So beside playing, you also have to manage your energy. So they usually say, you attack, you defend, you steal the ball, you keep possession, and you get out. So they don't recommend attack, defend. Some more experienced guys in the league, they try to cheat the system, and they have some defensive runners for them. So they will attack, and then they lose the ball. They sprint out, and they have somebody that just defends. They steal the ball, they get out, he comes in.
Yeah.
So some people are like that, but
yeah. So I'm glad you made those distinctions, because almost everybody, when you say arena soccer, they think like, hey, we're playing like pickup indoor.
No, completely different than pickup indoor. Like that's what I'm saying. Like, no, when you watch something on TV, even if you watch like a Champions League, you tend to be like, man, what is this player doing? And it's so easy to say when you're outside. Yeah. Inside is a completely different game.
100%.
So that's another thing that one of my teammates once said, because that game, I don't know if it was Tacoma or somewhere else. I think it was Tacoma. Since the arena is so close, you're playing, there's somebody sitting right here. You're about to take a throw and somebody's right here. And these guys were talking so much in my ear. My friend came to me and he saw that I got a little affected because I answered to them. And he said, like, just keep one thing in your mind. These guys are paying tickets to watch you. They are sitting there. They are paying to watch you. You are on the field. They should not bother you.
It's good.
So that also stick to my head. So anytime that I've had racist comments playing in California. So I used to play for a Texas team because I moved so much. Then after Syracuse, I just like so many places. And then playing against these guys, and the guys were the whole time beside the bench saying like, yo, make my burrito. Go make my burrito, my man. I scored, and I went in front of them. I said, where's your burrito, brother? I literally did.
Love that,
but that's the best way to answer to fans, because it gets complicated. Like some people just, I don't know what goes on in their life.
Yeah.
They're so miserable.
Well, you know what? Like people in life are armchair quarterbacks, bro. Everybody has opinions about stuff, but at the end of the day, like if you're being talked about, that means that you're producing.
Exactly. And you're the one there.
Yep.
You know, you're the one doing things. Like we might be doing this right now, and somebody could be criticizing.
100%.
What are these guys talking about? But who has the courage to go get a camera and do what you do?
Yep.
If you're just think one thing. Nobody that criticizes you is above you. That's how I like to think.
I love that, man.
Cristiano Ronaldo is not going to look at me and be like, man, you're a terrible player. He most likely will say, keep going. Because he has reached the potential that he's happy with his life. Usually the person criticizing is the one that's unhappy with his life, and he wants to bring you down. He wants to bring you down because he's down. You're never going to see somebody that's out there on TV. I don't know which channel.
Yeah.
I don't watch much TV, but let's say Bravo. Guy's a celebrity at Bravo, and then he's not going to come and try to down talk you. He's most likely going to support. He's going to say, man, keep going because one day you're going to be like me.
I love that, bro. What was that quote that you said right at the beginning? Nobody that criticizes you.
Nobody that criticizes you is above you.
Yeah.
It usually comes from below you.
That's so true, bro. And the reason is because those people know what it takes to be successful.
Exactly.
Like, I don't care what you do, whether it's professional soccer, run a business, famous rapper, whatever it is, bro. Like, there's always grind and hard work in everything.
Always. People see somebody at their top, but they don't realize. Again, I use too much the example of Cristiano Ronaldo because I have him as an idol. But
you can use Messi.
Not a fan. But anyway, Cristiano Ronaldo lost his father to alcoholism.
Yep.
What this guy has suffered in his life to get there is unbelievable.
Yep.
And the amount of work this guy puts every single day to be the best, you got to respect that.
100%.
If you're a Messi fan, I understand that there is a competition, but they're two unbelievable players.
Yeah.
We got to respect both and where they got in their life.
I think people that are successful understand that.
Exactly.
People that are just like living a very average life, not to put average people down, but like being average is easy. Like if success was easy, we'd all be pulling up in Ferraris and Lamborghinis and always have money, right?
Exactly.
But the reality is that it's not like that.
It's the 5% that want to put in the work.
100%.
But then, for example, you have the frustration from certain people, and that's when you create the fathers that put the pressure on their kids. I see that in the academy. You always have that dad that's yelling at the kid. You got to do better. You got to do this. You got to do that. I'm a true believer, and I would like to even one day if we can bring Pedro back, because you had him in the last podcast, and he talks about a lot about psychology.
Yeah.
I'm a true believer that the parents that act that way, they're frustrated parents that wanted to be players, never became. They want to transfer that same dream to the kids. And if the kids don't show that potential, then they get on them. And I think that's terrible for the kid, because 100%. Then the mentality of the kids is just fear. And you don't want to play it with fear.
What kind of things would you say to a player like that, or like a kid that like kind of feels that pressure?
So I actually have a few, but just talking to my wife at home, how we think about having kids one day, the game is happening already. If the kid is doing bad, you cannot change the outcome of that. You coming in screaming at the kid, it's not a good idea.
Yeah.
That's just going to put the fear. So in my opinion, the best thing is like, hey, you can improve in this and this area. Do you really want to be the best? Let's go back to training and put in the work. You can only get better in training. You're not going to get better in games. It gives you experience, but you yelling at a kid after. And I know that because my dad was like that with me.
Yeah.
He was the one putting the pressure. And today, unfortunately, I cannot have him in the stadium watching me because I have so much of that pressure. Every time I play, I tell him, please, can you watch on YouTube? And if he's on the arena and I know it, I'll have terrible game. It's just I block out. I literally block out. It's just like, and you learn as it goes.
And yeah, like I think it's important too to know that's like a coaching aspect too, like knowing your players. Like, hey, there are some players that are, when you yell at them, they will react, right? But then there's players that you can't do that with.
There's a different type of yell though.
Yeah.
There's the motivational yell where you're like, come on, man, you can produce more. And there's the down talk where you're like, come on, man, really? You step up the game to do this? You're embarrassing me.
That's true.
That talk doesn't do anything. A motivational talk might work.
Yeah.
You know, but a down talk is the problem. And again, I'm a true believer in experience. You create a negative experience on that player, he will never forget that moment, and he's going to transfer that same fear into the next game and the next game and the next game, and he's going to transfer it into his life. He's going to transfer that fear to any job that he has. He's going to go for a job interview, and he's going to be afraid of criticism. When you're afraid of criticism, that's the problem.
Yep.
Anything you do in life, you're afraid of criticism. Are people judging me? You don't do it to your
you'll never take action to be successful if you're afraid of that criticism.
Exactly.
Isn't that wild how words matter? How important it
100%.
is externally, but I think even more internally, right? Like what you say to yourself, right? Because I mean, like, yeah, like it's difficult. I understand, like, especially like when you're a kid, like kids don't really know, like you're guiding them, right? Yep. And as you get older, like us, we're in our 20s, like we understand that, like, okay, like now it's more about the internal aspect of what we hear, because now we can choose. That we have enough life experience where, like, okay, like whatever somebody says, like to me now it's not, hey, what somebody's saying, it's how am I going to interpret it?
Yes, that comes with experience and how hard you are. So life put us through some episodes that make you just harder.
Yep.
You know, and I say after I moved to the States, I completely became a different person. I wasn't strong at all. Like I tell you, I'm anxious, you know, everything I do, I'm kind of like, am I going to get approval? But the 10 years here in the States, I went through some stuff, again, just what I just mentioned, things that I would never expect to leave that. And that just made me a harder person, stronger person. Yes, I could have quit there, but I still decided to take a chance on believing that if I moved to St. Louis, I could have another shot. And I took it. And then I went to that game in Seattle, and I scored a goal.
Nice.
I scored a goal in my first game. never got cut again. And then I faced another problem during the end of the season. The coach wanted me to stay. The president wanted me to stay. The new president wanted me to stay. But the old president was selling the team to the new president, but they didn't come to a full agreement. So they were kind of in that, we're going to close, but it could be this month, it could be in 3 months. But my visa was about to expire. And I needed them to apply for the P1 visa for me, which is the professional athlete. And they were not signing. So she could not sign because she wasn't the president yet. And he could not give me the visa because he was selling the team. So I'm like, what do I do? What do I do right now? I ended up interviewing for a graduate assistant position in a college in Missouri. And they offered me the position. I was going to be the journalist of the school to write about every single sport. At the same time, I called back the same owner of Syracuse who had offered me the opportunity before I moved. And I said, this happened to me last year. I had to leave in a rush because this, and this. Would you still have me on the team? And he wasn't replying. The day that I was going to drop the documents at the school to start my graduate assistant position, I was going to give up soccer again. I was in the car driving. He texted me, send me your birth certificate. I'm going to apply for your visa right now. And honestly, I'm a true believer that some things happen in your life, like God makes certain moves, you know? Like, it's just, some people believe, some don't, but I do believe that things happen in your life because they're supposed to happen.
100%.
The guy took a month to reply me, and he replied on the day that I was going to turn in the documents. If that's not meant to be, I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
1 day later, I would say no. He's texted me on the drive. So I was like, again, in a difficult decision. Do I take it or do I don't take it? I said, you know what? I'm still young. Work opportunity, school opportunity is going to show in the future again. Yeah. So I sent him the document, went back to Syracuse with a better salary than he had offered me before because I played for St. Louis. Then the snow was just unbelievably crazy. So cold there. I was living with 2 good friends that I consider them family right now. They're both from Mexico, but Tex-Mexican. So they live in the American side, but they're Mexicans. Gotcha. So they came to me and said, like, man, Texas is coming back with a team next year. Would you like to go? So I said, okay. Prepare a little highlight video. I didn't have much because, again, that year, super quality players. Syracuse has one of the players that taught me the most about the game. Didn't have enough opportunities. I said, might as well give it a try. I don't like the cold here. Not getting so much opportunities. I'm going to go to Texas, near the beach, South Padre Island. There's spring break there again. I'm going to do it. Like college all over again. So I took it. You're going to laugh right now, but there is one more crazy story coming to this.
I love these crazy stories, by the way.
I'm actually writing a book to release it at some point. But then I go to Texas. I was so fit. Like, unbelievably fit. I put in the hard work. I was like ready. I said, this is going to be my season. So I go preseason. We have fitness tests all day. I was number 1 in all tests. The fitness coach was like taking the fat body percentage in each player, and he's like, man, you're a beast. Like, you're killing it right now. You're unbelievable, blah, blah, blah. Everybody was liking my performance. So we were going to have a game in Mexico against Solis de Sonora, and Monterrey. They have 2 Mexican teams in the league. But as a visa holder, they give me a petition that says that I'm authorized to work in the United States. Every time I leave the United States, I got to go to a consulate to give an interview and explain who I play for, what am I doing in the United States. They stamp my passport, I get to come back. Never had a problem with that because then I had the visa in Syracuse. I had a 3-year there, went to Brazil, got the stamp, came back, no problem. They sent me to Mexico 10 days before these 2 games so I could have the stamp, and then they give you a 3-month gap so you can in and out without having to stamp it again. They wanted to be safe. So I go on the interview. I'm the only person that speaks English in that consulate. Every other Mexican was just speaking Spanish. And the guy was like, what you doing in the U.S. if you don't even speak English? And they're like, no problem. Where I'm going to, they don't need English. And they're like, okay, visa approved. I said, damn, the guys are chill here. When I go there, I start the interview, and the guy's going well. And then he starts looking. And it's like, hold on a second. Okay. Goes inside, comes back outside, looks at me and says, like, there's no problem with your visa. It's not approved right now, and it's not denied. But we need to check something. What? It was supposed to be checked? I don't know. But he told me, it's 8 a.m. right now. By like 5 p.m., we give you a call. You come pick it up. I said, okay. I said, can I have my passport? Because I'm in Mexico now and I cannot stay without a passport. And he's like, no, it's so quick. You're going to come back at 5 o'clock to pick it up. I said, okay. 15 days. They took. I was in Mexico for 15 days without a passport. And the president wanted me to go play the games in Mexico because I wasn't authorized to come back to the United States. So I called the president. I said, look, they held my passport. They said 5 o'clock is going to be ready. 5 o'clock came. Nobody called me. I called him. What do I do? I'm in Mexico right now. I cannot cross back. So he's like, don't you worry. We're going to take care of you. So the team was playing hotel every single day. But it's not that I was in Cancun. I was in Matamoros, a border city. You know how dangerous a border city is? Like, I was seeing people with, like, rifles every single day. So I'm like, okay. First day goes by, he pays for the hotel. Second day goes by, he pays the hotel. And then my mom starts freaking out, and I get calls of her crying, and they're like, we're going to call the Brazilian embassy to take you out of there. And then I call the president, and he's like, no, don't worry, we have a lawyer in the case. He was a consul in Mexico. He's going to get this sorted out. Keeps going, and they keep paying hotel, paying my salary and everything. At that point, I was already playing pickup games in the center of Matamoros with friends, like seeing all type of things, going for micheladas in Mexico, loving life. I was even not caring anymore. I was like eating.
You were living like a retired guy lifestyle.
People taking pictures with me. Like, you're from Brazil, like girls come taking pictures, referees taking pictures with me. And I'm like, I don't want to leave Mexico anymore, man. I'm going to move here. So after 15 days, I finally get an email. Come pick up your passport. And I was like, okay. When they picked the passport, I said, what was wrong? And they're like, nothing. We just needed to check something. And obviously, you don't want to argue so much. I said, okay, thank you so much. Picked up the passport. Crossed back. Never had a problem anymore. You know? But that's another crazy story. 15 days in Mexico.
Yeah.
And my coach, whenever the president said, you're going to play in Mexico because you are in Mexico, you can go play. My coach called me the day before and said, like, don't tell the president that I'm telling you this, but tell him you don't want to play. I said, why? He's like, we're going to drive from the border to Monterrey, and there are so many checkpoints, and they check passport to make sure that everybody has a visa. If they find you don't have a passport, then they're going to put you in a dark cell in Mexico, and then it's going to get real. So I called the president and I said, I'm not going to this game. I'm sorry, I'm not going to this game. So I stayed at the hotel, no problem, got the passport back, came back to the States. I was already obviously with a grudge from them because I felt they did something on the application of the visa that should not have been done. So I continued playing this season, and then there was a game against a Cedar Rapids team that I also had some friends, and I was expressing them, like, I don't know if I want to continue here, blah, blah, blah. So I played a decent game. They spoke with the owner. The owner came, talked to me, and he said, I'm founding a team in Orlando, Florida. Do you want to be a part of it? I said, yes. Signed the contract. He applied for a 3-year visa. Got approved. No problem. Everything was good. Played the first season for them. Love Orlando. Absolutely love Orlando. The Brazilian community there is huge.
Yeah.
You get Brazilian food anywhere you want to go. Hot weather. Disney's right there. Absolutely love the place, man. And then the second season started. And then I met Kendra, which is my wife right now. And then we started going out every day. And I was like, this girl is just so different than the other girls, you know, like I really like her. Then I decided to propose. So I proposed before game. I blindfolded her. I talked to the crew and I said, you guys are going to tell her that she's going to win spa day if she spins, take the blindfold off, and kick the ball inside of the goal. So that's what she thought she was doing. They blindfolded her. I don't know if you're going to edit the video later, and if we can add that, I'll send it to you. But if not,
we'll definitely do it.
People that, if you want to follow my Instagram too, there's the video there. But then she's there, and then when she takes the blindfold off to kick, I'm there with the ring. So I proposed to her and everything, but then Corona hit. They canceled the season because it's arena. And then she's from here. So she was like, let's go spend a month with my dad. So then we came here, Corona kept going, and then I just decided to stay and open my academy. So basically a quick run-up of my story.
I love that, man. I mean, like, I think the thing that I love outside of all your amazing stories is that, like, every time that you face a hard decision, man, like, honestly, the only thing you can do is make the best out of it, you know? Like it's like every decision that you make in life is going to be difficult when you're trying to pursue success. And I think, like you said, like God has a plan for all of us, and like He'll just intervene when He needs to, you know?
100%, man. And if you got to believe, I'm a true believer that if you like what you're doing, you will succeed.
Yep.
I love soccer. You love your own thing, love the podcast. If you're going to do that, you're going to put the effort. It's not going to be easy. Not telling you that you're going to be on 1 million likes tomorrow.
Yep.
No, but if you consistently post your videos, keep going, in 1 year, it takes one day. They make that fun like it took me 10 years to become an overnight success.
Yep.
That's that quote. Like everybody considers you an overnight success because nobody saw the effort you put back there. But that's what's inside of you, and that's the pride you're gonna have. That you did it. Man. And the harder it is, the better the feeling.
It is. That is so true, man.
Much better. When somebody hands something to you, you're like, okay, cool, I have it. Does it mean something? Not really. And that's why so many players also kind of blow out their money because they are receiving. They don't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
They kind of get lost into that. Like, I have so much, and then suddenly you have nothing. Not saying that they didn't go through hardships, but that success, when it comes too quick, you have some players that literally, boom, success. And then they don't know what to do. They get lost.
Yeah.
So I'm a true believer that the hardships build character, and it's important. That's how I see it. The problems, nobody likes problems. But when I have a problem like today, it's bad. In 5 years, I'm going to look into this and be like, this added something to my life, and it made me different now. So that's how you have to see it.
I love that, man.
Yeah.
What would be your number one piece of advice for somebody that wants to play in the college level or make it pro?
Oh, the college level first, obviously, the main thing would be to obviously have a nice video. You got to have a nice video. I also am a partner in a company in Brazil that brings athletes. So I have placed 5 to 7 kids into college here. I have recorded, I have edited their videos. That's key. So if you're going to make a video, make sure it's a quality game. Some kids just send a video of like them playing a pickup game on the weekend, shirtless. Like, I'm like, okay, the coach's going to look at this, and you have like that fat guy that drinks beer all weekend sprinting with this kid, and he's sending this to a college coach. The college coach laughs, man. Like, it's going to laugh. So it's got to be a proper...
The crazy thing is, like, these kids don't even realize, like, bro, like, what are you doing right now?
And that's what I'm saying. I want to help these kids, but that it comes back on there like, why am I going to criticize a kid like this?
Yeah.
I am what I want. I want to help this kid to succeed.
That's a good point.
Exactly. So first thing, don't send a video of a random pickup game. Please don't send anybody shirtless, somebody barefoot. Like, it's insane. But an official match, both teams with official uniforms, referees, the coaches look at that. They're like, okay, there is a referee or there is somebody random with flip-flops. In Brazil, like we have the Havaianas, and you have the referee walking in flip-flops. Come on, man, this is not a real game. So that highlight yourself. Some kids just put the video out there, and they hope that the coach is going to know who they are. That's another key. Either put a circle around yourself or an arrow. Make sure that you are seen. And
that's a good point, man.
You have to. Like, some coaches, they don't want to. You got to remember, like, the coaches will either continue with the video or they're going to stop in the first 30 seconds. If that 30 second you make a bad play, so I also suggest put your best plays in the beginning already, because nobody likes to watch a 10-minute video. They're going to watch probably 2 minutes and they're going to make a decision. If you start with passes, taking out the ball. So first place, boom, go. If you're forward, go. If you're a defender, stealing the best balls, coming out of the back. Put your best plays in the beginning, and then at the end, if you want to just put extra to make sure that the video is long enough, add the extra. But put the best in the beginning, highlight yourself, make sure you're seen, proper attire in the game, a proper game. As I said, no pickup games out there. And the desire, man. You got to want. It's not easy to come to college here. I know many people that gave up in the middle of their college career because they missed home. I've cried in my room by myself, man. Like, I miss my family. I haven't seen my family in 1 year right now, but I have been 2.5 years without seeing them. It hurt. It's hard for somebody that's young to be far. You miss birthdays. You miss Christmas. I miss graduation of my sister. Almost missed her wedding because you have that dream and you have a goal. It's not easy. So you have to have the right mindset. When I first got to the U.S., I had the mindset, first, I'm going to succeed in soccer, so I was never the crazy party guy before a game. I party after, but I first got the result. So you got to have the mindset. Now you have some kids, and that's why I also suggest go to a smaller town. Don't try to go to Miami in the first year. Don't try to go to Orlando, California, like San Diego, anything like this, because you have so many distractions that you get into the world. And kids from Brazil, they get here, there's so much more that they're like, I'm going to go party. And then you get nothing out of the college. So I suggest smaller town, more focus into the soccer and the study. So my city was small. That helped me focus. But again, there are some kids that just give up. Have to have the right mindset. So I feel like video has to be proper, but the mindset's number one. If you have the mindset that you want to be successful, and that's anything for life. Anything in your life, if you have the right mindset, you will succeed, man. That's the best advice I can do it.
I love that, man. I mean, you're right, man. I think it's all about the way that you think, man. At the end of the day, like if you talk negatively to yourself and you believe bad things are going to happen to you, guess what? Bad things will happen. But at the same time, you can use that same effort and think of all the good things that can happen for you. You know what I'm saying?
You have to believe in your potential.
100%.
If you know you're good, even if you're not the best right now, you can work on to become. And that's why I get back to Messi and Cristiano, both unbelievable players. Messi is naturally talented. I don't think Ronaldo has the same talent, but the guy works so much harder than anybody else that he levels up. And obviously, you split people. Some think Ronaldo are better, some think Messi are better, in my opinion. Again, I like Ronaldo better. I think Messi is more talented, but Ronaldo overcomes.
Well, I think Ronaldo built himself into that. You know what I'm saying? And I think like if you have, obviously you gotta have skill, but like if you have that mindset, you can reach those potentials.
And that's another quote: like hard work beats talent any day. Any day, you have somebody talented that sits in the couch the whole day, he's not gonna get anywhere. And you have somebody that's not that talent, put in the work, reading the books, studying, he will get there. You just have to go, man. If you have the dream of becoming anything you want in life, just stand up and go for it.
I love that, man. Naka, thank you so much, my man, for coming on the podcast today. This concludes another episode. I appreciate you, brother.
Thank you so much for having me here. I appreciate what you were doing. I'm sure we're going to work in a lot of projects together.
Of course.
I'm excited for that. So if you're in Charlotte or in the United States, stay tuned. Follow his channel. If you want to follow my Instagram as well, make sure you do. We're going to get a lot of nice content coming to you. Thank you again for having me, my man.
This is the beginning. Thank you.